وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي، أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر وعبر WNZK راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. This is the Local Connection with Khalil Hachem, editor of WMichigan.com, the fastest growing digital business magazine in the Middle Eastern communities in Michigan. This show is brought to you by the cooperation between WMichigan.com and U.S. Arab Radio. Today is June 28th. It's a hot day today, and summer is on its way. It seems like it's going to be a little bit hotter this weekend, but we'll take it. As long as we don't have to shovel snow, we're happy. First, many thanks to the leader and founder of U.S. Arab Radio, Layla Al-Husseini. She called me the other day, and she said, we need to do this show. There's something going on in Tunisia, and we need to highlight it, and I'm glad that I appreciate the sense of urgency and news that Layla has and her leadership at U.S. Arab Radio. In the news very quickly before we get into our show, and 4th of July is next week, and we want to, make you aware of the fact that I know how much our community loves fireworks. So there are rules and regulations. You need to be aware of them, and we want you to be safe. Later on, at the end of part of the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Democratic debate that is going on for candidates for presidents in 2020. Talk a little bit about the Supreme Court ruling on the citizenship question, Supreme Court ruling on gerrymandering, and very quick update on the housing market. At the same time, and it has been in the news, and it shocked everyone, that a twin bombing in Tunisia at the time when the Asian alien president was rushed to the hospital. This really changed and rocked things in Tunisia. As you well know, Tunisia was the place where the so-called Arabic Spring, I don't know if it was a spring, but started there with the event. And Tunisia was supposed to be this place that's a good example of how things could work. But we've had some unfortunate incidents. And with us today, Mohamed Khalifi, to help us understand what's going on there. He's a writer and activist. And, his list of accomplishments and is really very impressive. Good morning, Mohamed.
Good morning, Khalil, and good morning to everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to ask you to raise up your voice a little bit. I could barely hear you.
Okay, I think, can you hear me now better?
Yes, I do. It's much better.
Okay, great.
Before we start, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and where you are right now.
Well, now I'm in State College, Pennsylvania. I'm law graduate. I have graduated from Penn State, Wisconsin School of Law. And I'm also a writer and a human rights advocate. I've been working in a lot of human rights organizations like the World Organization Against Torture or the Office of Transparency International in Tunisia. And currently I'm analyzing the situation in Tunisia and working on the status of human rights now back home in Tunisia.
Okay. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Well, I'm preparing to sit for the bar exam, to take the bar exam in New York, and I hope that I'll continue that mission of advocating for human rights and writing.
Excellent.
That's what I love.
Excellent. We're always proud of our community members, whether you're from Tunisia, from Lebanon, from Libya, it doesn't matter where you're from. You come to this country and you work hard and you want to make a difference and you want to make a name for yourself. And America is the place for American dream, and you can really be all you're going to be if you invest yourself. And we're so proud of all the community members who do that. What's going on in Tunisia? I mean, I thought things were working out there.
Yeah, I mean, things are now happening in a very... Yesterday was like a day full of a lot of events. We had, unfortunately, like 3 terrorist attacks in just one day. The first was like early in the morning by the attack of military bases in the extreme south of the country, but that attack failed because there were no injuries and no people who were killed. But after we had simultaneously 2 attacks, one was a bombing in the middle of the biggest avenue in the country near the French embassy. 1 policeman was killed and 3 civilians were injured. And the second attack that injured 4 policemen was inside the parking of the anti-terrorism district investigation unit, which shows that the attacks were inside his administration, which is critical. What's happening also is that at the same day, the president, I consider that this is the most very important event, that the president was taken to the military hospital and his health situation was considered as very critical. Now we have little information saying that he's already passed away. The official state institutions are denying that, and the question asked here or raised is a constitutional one because of the vacancy of the position of the president. What will happen?
You have an antique president. Well, how old is he? He's like 500 years old or something like that?
He's 23 years old, so we have a really old president. And I don't know how the Tunisian people took the risk to vote to a very old president, because we should expect to face that situation.
Yeah. Before we talk about the bombing and the president and all of that, most of us are not really familiar with events in Tunisia. Give us a quick synopsis of, from what they call Arabic Spring, what happened there and how did it unfolded, and what was really the accomplishments there, so we can understand the relevancy of what's going on today.
Well, the Arab Spring, or the so-called Arab Spring, started in Tunisia in 2010, that late December, and it started in my hometown, in fact, that city called Sidi Bouzid. When Mohamed
Were you there? Were you there when it happened? Were you there?
I was in another big city, but I went to my hometown just one day after the event started, so I witnessed a lot of things that happened. The protest started as an act to refuse the injustice and the poverty that was the general situation in a lot of internal cities of the country. So people started to protest and to stand up for their rights. And we were one of the biggest, human rights oppressive dictatorship regimes. And that was not easy to stand up for human rights and to ask for our rights, especially for employment and for human dignity and freedom. After the president of the country and the protests were all over the country for the first time in our history, the President Ben Ali, who was a very military dictator person, left the country, and that movement of protesting against dictatorships moved to a lot of other Arab countries, going to Egypt, Libya, and Syria, Yemen. But unfortunately, the results were not that good or that expected, because some of the countries turned up to go back to dictatorship again, or to be stuck in civil wars like what's happening in Yemen or Syria, or having
Libya.
In Libya as well, or having exactly a lot of them, or having the worst dictatorship like what's happening now in Egypt. So maybe the only, let's say, little democracy that is trying to succeed is the Tunisian one, but still that does not deny the fact that we're in a critical situation where we still don't have all our constitutional institutions and commissions. Our democracy is still fragile and danger. We're still facing problems in freedom of speech, and that's why the Tunisian people is still struggling to try to build the only, let's say, successful experience of the Arab Spring.
Why do you think that it's not being as successful as it should be?
Well, the problem that a lot of factors can be highlighted here, the fact that you will have foreign pressure or foreign intervention, let's say, from countries that will not like so much having democracies in the region, like some Gulf countries that were, very clearly like intervened in what's happening in Tunisia, in Egypt. Like, for example, Emirates, Saudi Arabia, or Qatar, who a lot of these countries, they even themselves, they do not deny that they intervened in what's happening in the countries after 2011. Some countries like financed or funded troops, rebellions. Others like financed the coup d'etats that happened in Egypt, like Emirates that supported expressly General Sisi. So what was happening in the Arab region was not only based on the will of the people, but on a lot of other factors, and the intervention of countries that worked hard on turning over against the experiences of democracy in that country. But I really don't agree so much when people say that we are not maybe ready for democracy. Because democracy is, it needs a lot of time to work on it, to build it in several years. But the sad part that what happened in the region, happened before when we took the risk to try to build a democracy, and we failed in that.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think, the Middle East, we have some of the brightest, some of the most intelligent people. Before we talk about that, it's important to note that democracy is not about election. Democracy is not about just free speech. These are all of democracy. Democracy is about institutions. And this is where we lack. Two things we lack is institutions and leadership. We just really don't have the leadership. But we have look at all of the Arabs who go to Western countries and they excel and then become successful lawyers, and like yourself and doctors and so forth. We have very smart people. We don't work together, and then we don't have the institutions set up to really nourish and create successful democracies. How is the country right now doing financially? Like, what's the economic situation there?
The economic situation in Tunisia, this is maybe the biggest challenge now in Tunisia, is because, as you said, that democracy is not only about voting or going to vote, it's more than that, and we still have the problem of thinking that our political systems are based on persons and not institutions. That's why people freaked out when they have a president who is ill in the hospital. But the economical challenge is the biggest one. That, for example, in Tunisia, a lot of youth are still suffering from unemployment, which causes a lot of social pressure on the government, and people are keep on protesting. We have a problem in our local or national currency that is like falling compared to dollar and euro, and we have a lot of other economical problems caused especially by corruption, because we are still suffering from corruption that really harmed the economical situation in the country. The productivity is not working very well. A lot of manufactories were blocked by protests. People who were supposed to work after the revolution or to be hired were not. A lot of, for example, the private sector and the public sector are not well organized, does not cooperate so well. And as I mentioned before, because of the corruption, Tunisia borrowed a lot of loans from international givers, or international donors, But these funds were not employed the right way to improve the economy, and were not used in the right way, which made the economical situation even worse. So that's the biggest challenge that even, threat the social stability in the country. And if the governors and the leaders of the country do not work on that, even after the elections of 2020, I hope, of 2019, they have to really take in consideration that the situation can get worse and our state of stability can be even, threatened.
Sure. What we're going to do, Mohammed, we're going to take a short break, commercial break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Oh, okay, great.
If halal is important to your family, you can trust that Miramar will offer not only the highest quality halal products, but the best tasting and healthiest foods that can be placed on your family table with confidence. Miramar is the first and oldest halal certified food brand in America, serving the Arab and Muslim community, and offers a wide range of halal food products. Check out Miramar's halal food selection today by visiting Miramar's executive distributor, Ziyad Brothers Importing, at www.ziyad.com.
Life is a nonprofit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab offers a great array of your favorite Mediterranean meals. Meals range from lamb specialties, shawarma sandwiches, seafood dinners, and they offer special big trays of your favorite food, plus much more. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab address is 32839 Northwestern Highway in Farmington Hills. Their phone number is 248-538-9552. That number again is 248-538-9552. And the supermarket is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kushat's Mediterranean Market and Shish Kebab will definitely leave you satisfied.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We're talking to activist and writer Mohamed Khalifi. He's from Tunisia. We're talking about the recent bombing and what led to that. Mohamed, what everybody is attracted to when they come to America is the fact that there's an opportunity. You can go to school, you can start a business. There's a system, but the most important thing is the opportunity is there. I think this is what we lack in most of the Arab world, is that the opportunities are not there and we don't have the system set up. How things are in Tunisia, are those opportunities available?
Well, to be honest, there was last big survey done by a big studies institution and published by The Guardian and BBC, which the British journal, talking about the depression among youth in the Arab countries. The first country was Iraq, but the second one was Tunisia. So we have data and factors showing that, unfortunately, a lot of youth there are hopeless, and that's what causes what's happening in the country when we have youngsters or youth, unfortunately, trying to migrate to the other shores of the Mediterranean, and even risk their lives to do that to reach the other countries. And that is due to lack of opportunities, in fact. I mean, people are graduating from universities with good degrees. They speak more than 2 languages. They have good skills, but
and they don't have a job.
And they don't have a job, exactly. I mean, they find themselves they deserve to have a good job, but they don't, which makes them, hopeless or depressed, and they try to leave the country or to leave it. And thus, this is what goes and maybe leads some people, unfortunately, to go to the extremism, or to leave the country, or to, stop being active or trying to change anything in the community. And that's why, even to fight terrorism and extremism in our region, the first thing is to work on improving the economical situation and to provide opportunities for youth. And it's not only about fighting the ideas, it's about providing people with hope that will automatically replace any other, progressive ideas or extremist ideas in that region.
Mm-hmm. Give us an idea. Like, if you were to be living in Tunisia, and what's the average pay you get? What are the available jobs there other than tourism? What and government jobs? What do you get? What do you earn? Like, $1,000, $1,500? What do you earn?
Well, in Tunisia, the other sectors other than tourism is, because Tunisia is not, it's a little country that is not developed so much, but we do have an agriculture sector. A lot of farms are in the country, especially in the internal regions. We have a little industry in the country, and but the only maybe sector that provided jobs for youth was the IT sector. Where a lot of computer engineers are working there and trying to create like a hub for in the region, in the North African region, since Tunisia is located in the middle. But you mentioned salaries and revenues, and that's also a big issue that causes migration or brain drain. For example, like a doctor in Tunisia is paid, who works there will be paid $300 or even $400 maximum. So a lot of doctors left the country. Monthly. So a lot of them left the country to Germany or to France to be paid, or to have a decent salary. And that's also another problem, that life expenses is very high in the country, and on the other side, revenues or salaries are really low. And compared to other countries, a lot of high-skilled profiles will leave the country to look for a better life because of that. But sure. I hope that situation gets better, and maybe one day these high profiles will come back with they feel that they will be more respected and they can drive change in our own country, because this is very important as well.
Sure. $300-400 a month. What does it get you in Tunisia?
It is not sufficient. Unfortunately, that's it, because if you get $400, you will be able just to live your life in very restricted and limited way.
Can you rent an apartment?
You can rent an apartment, for example, for $200, and you will struggle to live with the rest of your salary. And this is what is happening to a doctor or an engineer. And let's not talk about people who do not have a degree and who really struggle to live with 1/3 or 20% of that amount.
So basically, if you want to live you would need rent, you would need food, you would need whatever it is. You need at least $700-800 a month, if not $1,000 a month. And there you're getting in the $300 or $400, which is there's a deficiency almost 50-60%.
Exactly. That's the big crisis there. That you'll need a minimum $1,000 to live decently, but only 2% of people who are working in the country are receiving salary that is equal or more than $1,000 per month.
What can be done to change the economic situation?
I mean, this is maybe I consider that the biggest question now. But for the answers, I think I was talking about a lot of maybe negative parts, but I think we do have a lot of alternatives and good solutions for our country, because we're a small country. We have a lot of resources. We're now a lot of people, only 12 million inhabitants. But the problem and the first cancer, unfortunately, there is the corruption. If we have a very good system of transparency and accountability that fights impunity and that is really transparent, we would, really have a lot of good solutions to invest in the country, to really exploit our natural resources in a transparent way, because we have oil, we have phosphate in the south, we have a good tourism sector that can be used or really improved. We have a lot of, let's say, brains, we have a big mass of youth of 40% of the country that can really be highly productive if they're well paid, and invest in a lot of sectors. We have a lot of even businessmen who are outside the country, who are abroad, who are ready to invest if they feel that the environment is more transparent. So you're the community. Yeah,
you're an activist, and I'm sure there are several people like you, a lot of people like you in all countries. What is it that, now that you have a better understanding of what's going on? Because, normally when people leave, they see things better. Now you have a better understanding. What is it that you're doing, your friends from your country, the people that you know, to really make some changes on the economic level? Help people understand what's going on.
If I understood your question, you mean what are we doing exactly? Are people who are abroad to drive some change in the country, right?
What is it you're doing to help your country?
Well, for me, I consider that, as an activist especially, working on human rights, I consider that the human rights values are international. That's why I consider that even not being in Tunisia, I can still defend human rights there. And I continue, as I was in Tunisia, to stand up for human rights. Even that caused me a lot of problems and harassment in my country, but I still believe that we still have a cause of human rights in our country. We need to stand up to talk about human rights violations, oppressions that come from public officials. The existence of torture, we cannot deny that even after the Arab Spring, we still have a lot of torture cases in the country. I still working on publishing articles, advocating in meetings, trying to network, and to make the world hear that we are, for example, still suffering from impunity, that people who are corrupt are not held accountable at all. People who tortured a lot of political activists or even, normal citizens are not taken to the court at all. And I think that this is a very important mission, because unfortunately what's happening is that after 2011, we have that picture that Tunisia is the only democracy in the region. It's the peaceful one that is successful, but nobody is talking about the real problems that are happening inside, that we still have torture, a lot of corruption, we are failing economically. And I think that people who are abroad need to tell the alternative or the other side of the story as well, not only the government story.
Exactly. Well, we're going to do, Mohamed, we're going to take another break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about, what about the bombing. Please stay tuned.
Okay.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي، واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الأكل المصري.
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالأكل العراقي. واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم، اعتمدوا علينا أيا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف أن لكل مذاق أسرار، فنحن نقدم أجود أنواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم أطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 50 Mile Road ستيرلينغ هايتس.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood, 734-744-9796. When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. We're talking to Mohamed Khalifi from Tunisia. He's an activist and a writer, and we're talking about the Tunisian developments and some of the bombings there. And, we were hoping that Tunisia would be on the way to, originally where the Arab Spring or so-called Arab Spring started, we're hoping that it'll be on its way to create a better life for its citizens. And we have a caller. Jerry, good morning.
Mr. Khalil Hachem, good morning to you, and good morning to your guest, Mr. Mohamed Khalifi. How are you today, Khalil?
Good.
What about you?
Very quickly, Jerry. We don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to take your call.
Yeah, thank you. Khalil, could I address question to Mr. Mohamed Khalifi in Arabic?
Very quickly.
Yes. أستاذ محمد خليفة، السلام عليكم. أخوك نجيب حبة من العراق، وعاشت تونس الخضراء. نعم. أستاذ خليفة، هل أن الربيع العربي سوف يعيد نفسه مرة أخرى في تونس؟ وهل تعود تونس إلى أيام ما كانت عليه؟ فأرجو منك الجواب، لأن الربيع العربي الذي ظهر قبل عقدين لم يكن ربيعا، كان تسونامي، كان إعصار. فهل هناك ربيع حقيقي؟ وشكرا لك.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, Khalil.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Okay, so I answer in English, right? I think that the Arab Spring that started in 2011, unfortunately, a lot of people are not happy with it. I totally understand, because the results were, terrible in a lot of countries. But I consider that we will not have a second Arab Spring, but we are still, consider that we are still in progress with the same, let's say, revolutionary process, because things, in fact, did not change in 2011. We started maybe the change. And to have a real change in the future, this may take, several years. Because, for example, I was a spokesman of social movement called Manishim Samah, which, gathered a lot of Tunisian youth who are activists. And we are working, and we are still, engaged in our cause of changing things in the country. And if you want to, turn your back over dictatorship, start a new democracy, change things to the better economically. You will not do this in 5 years or 10 years. Maybe the next generation will benefit from that, and we need to sacrifice to reach that result, and to really build countries of institutions, and not, countries based on only people or persons or leaders who will show up in the history and disappear after. So I believe that we are, the first
trial.
Exactly.
You brought up a very important point, and anybody who studies American history will tell you, or European histories for that matter. The beginning of the modern state started in the 1600s, and then evolved over time to where we are right now. Things don't happen overnight. As long, and you are on the right track, as long as you have a system for corrections. You make mistakes, then you correct them, you make mistakes, then you correct them, and then you end up with a good system. And this seems what we lack, or seems that what we lack in the Arab countries. We don't have that system there. We make mistakes, and then that leads to frustration, as you said.
Exactly, and we don't have very important parts, as the Moroccan intellectual Abd Jabri described it, called that the Arab brain lack the critical mind, which exists in the West. Because, for example, Americans, that they had the first revolution, then a little democracy, but they had after a civil war, but after they continued to unite the country. And I think that our problem that we commit mistakes, but after we don't have that critical mind that say why we failed, why we should not do again, and what should we do exactly to have the successful.
This is what I'm talking about, the system for corrections. We don't have that, and we need that.
Exactly. That's also true. We can commit the same mistake 10 times because we don't have that system of correction as well.
Help us understand, how could a country like Tunisia elect a 92-year-old president to change the laws so they can facilitate the election of a president? Maybe he can't speak, can't walk, maybe he's dead now.
That was also another bad part of the history of the emerging democracy, maybe, is that the people who were governing the country were started having their own deals to divide the power between them, because we had people who were winning the elections, or we knew that they were winning, were the Islamists and the people who were involved in the regime of Ben Ali before. And they had their own deals to divide the power between them. They changed the law to allow the Qa'id Futsi to run for elections, because these people have a big pressure and a lot of people will vote for them. So this is also another compromise, that you rather have to protect the values of your democracy or have your own deals and lobbying and damage and threat maybe that democracy, because we did not only have that deal that allowed the president to run, we are still suffering from the same approach of enacting laws just for political parties' own interests and not the people's interest, because the parliament also enacted another law recently, the last week, to not allow a lot of people to run for presidency just because they knew that another businessman may win and he's, really popular. So they just enacted law on command, maybe, just to not allow him to run. And this is really threatening the democracy in our country.
Who do you think
is on laws like that?
Who do you think is behind the bombing?
For the bombing, we had maybe 4 or 5 attacks since 2011, and we were never able to answer the question, because honestly, I don't understand how can we have such a coincidence of having 3 terrorist attacks at the same day that the government started announcing that the president is really ill. So some people maybe try to relate it, saying that the terrorism in Tunisia is working only, or is happening only when some politicians need to be present to do what they want to do. But I still believe that even the extremists or the ISIS that exists in Tunisia, because they have little troops there, even if they are the ones who are still committing these or doing these attacks, they are really desperate because they made 3 attacks just to kill only one person with, homemade, let's say, bombs that injured only 4 people in a place and 3 people in another place. So I cannot be sure and say that ISIS is responsible, and I cannot say that some people of the government are conspiring with them to do that, to make pressure on people to report elections, because that's what they want to do. They want to report elections to be able to stay more in power and try to postpone elections and
exactly. What do you think the message behind the bombing?
The message is, the first thing that there was a message behind the bombing because it occurred in 2 critical places. The first one was in front of the French embassy. The second one was inside the biggest, let's say, police unit in the country. So maybe the terrorists, they wanted to say that they are still there in Tunisia because a lot of reports are saying that we already defeated them and they're not there anymore. And by attacking really critical places like the French embassy that is supposed to be highly protected, or the Gorsheni district that is the biggest police unit, and the terrorists reach it to bomb the parking which is inside. So maybe the message was not killing a lot of people, or they were not, it was not that important to have a lot of victims, but the important message was to say that we still can attack the most protected places in your country and that we are still here. Yeah. I think that may be the message behind that, and especially when it's only 5 months before the election.
Absolutely. So somebody's trying to send a message or similar to that.
Exactly. I think so, because if they were attempting to kill a lot of people, they honestly failed in that, and that this shows that they are not that dangerous as they were in 2015 or 2016, where we had, almost 100 martyrs in our country because of terrorist attacks.
What can we do to help your country?
We as, for example, you want to say the Arab community in the United States or in general?
In general. What can we do?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing to do is to, especially, I think that the only people who can help Tunisia now is people who are inside. The priority is given to them to especially continue their lives as it is, as normal lives. Because the terrorists' first goal is to terror you, is to make you intimidated and just stay home and don't go outside and be scared. But if people continue their lives normally as nothing happened, and this is an act of resistance. And this is, I think, what is currently happening in Tunisia, that people are still in the streets, continuing their lives, living their daily life, and not threatened by these attacks. And
we hope it doesn't happen again. Yeah, we hope it doesn't happen again. Do you anticipate more, trouble in the country?
Yes, I honestly do, because these little attacks can happen at any time, and I even expect that terrorists can, even telling the whisper, they can commit, they can try to make a bigger attack, in another place, because we still have arms gambled into the country, because we still have these terrorists hiding in the mountains, because, for example, who attacked the south of the country yesterday, they are still hidden in the mountains. And I expect that Tunisia may have still, unfortunately, suffer from these attacks, especially that we are having elections on December 2019, and I can expect this to happen again, really, easily. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is to be more realistic. I cannot say that we won't have this again. This is not true.
Yes, yeah. Well, what's your outlook for the country, hopefully in the near future?
In the near future, I consider that the most crucial or turning point now is the elections of 2019. We had new million Tunisian who registered to vote, which is a big number. Most of them are youth. I think that these people will really need to decide to drive change now and to not elect the classical political elite, if we can call it elite at all. So if the youth really know to who to vote, to transparent people who are not corrupt, if we have more youth in the government in these new elections, I think we can have a big change. However, if we will have the same political class, same political parties there in the government, I think that the situation may be even worse because these people are really corrupt and they made a lot of wrong decisions during 8 years, and if you vote for them and give them credibility again, they will commit worse errors.
Yeah. Ahmed, is there anything I haven't asked you that you want to share with our listeners?
Well, I think we kind of talked about a lot of actuality in Tunisia, but I only want to highlight a very important point, saying that the death of president, or if he's dead or not, this is not important. What is important that, as you said before, that we need to make this country a country of institutions. We have a vacancy in the country as president, in position of president. We will delegate it to the president of the government or the parliament, and we will have our elections. I need just to say that at least even though the president is passed away, fortunately we had him as the first president in our history that was elected. He did not take the power by violence. He was not there for the whole of his life. He was legally elected by people. And even if I don't consider him as a good president. So sure. I hope that Tunisia will take the right path to have its new president using respecting the constitutional law, not violating, and especially peacefully, because we really need to protect this transitional democracy.
Absolutely. Mohamed, it has been a pleasure talking to you this hour, and we wish you the best. We wish you the best of luck in what you're doing. Please keep in touch with us so you can keep us updated on what's going on. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for your invitation, and thank you for radio.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
تعرفوا شيء، احنا كتير بنهتم بالمقبلات بالاكل الشامي،
واحنا بنهتم بالبهارات والتسبيكة في الاكل المصري،
واحنا نهتم هواية باللحوم وجودتها بالاكل العراقي، واحنا في مطعم عشتار نهتم بيكم. اعتمدوا علينا ايا كان. نحن في عشتار نعرف ان لكل مذاق اسرار، فنحن نقدم اجود انواع اللحوم من ملحمة عشتار الواقعة على 56865 راين رود.
عشتار، قصة حضارة ترويها لكم اطباقنا المميزة في كل زيارة.
تفضلوا بزيارتنا في 3625 East 50 Mile Road ستيرلينغ هايتس.
مطعم عشتار بإدارة فادي بهنام وعلي البغدادي. 586-698-2585 586-698-2585.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
أيام زمان كان طعم الأكل غير. كان جدي يجيب لي لأكلة المحاشي والكبة المشوية. بتعرفي اشتقنا لأيام زمان والطعم الطيب
بس اليوم مع زيادة منتج بديل دهن الخروف الحقيقي بتاع ملية بيعطيكي نفس الطعم الغني والمميز، مجفف معقم سهل الاستعمال وحلال 100%، يمكن استعماله في جميع الأكلات الشرقية. ما عليكي إلا أنه تفتحي الظرف وتضيفي من طعم اللية واستمتعي باللقمة الشهية.
وصحتين وهنا.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
Thank you for being with us and welcome back. We've had a really good discussion with our guest, Mohamed Khalifi. He's from Tunisia. He's an activist. He's a writer. I want to thank him for being with us. You know, he raised quite a bit of issues that can really be true of every developing country, of every Arab country, you know, in which we have all of these issues, political problems, military problems, social problems, a large number of youth who have no opportunity, no jobs, no prospects, and that leads to frustration, leads to opportunity for terrorists to take advantage of them. The whole system doesn't exist. You know, a lot of people paint Tunisia as the example of where the Arab Spring succeeded. You know, first, this is a personal observation. I don't think there was ever an Arab Spring. There was some political movements influenced by outsiders to divert attention from the main issue in the Middle East, which is the Arab-Israeli-Palestinian issue, into a different issue, creating new divisions, creating a new target other than, you know, the Arab-Israeli issue. This is very complicated, but this does not really preclude us from being a good culture that would provide opportunities to our youth, to our countries, to just like in the United States, you know, where we have all the opportunities that we need to succeed. And it's unfortunate. We see it all over the place. We see it in Lebanon. We see it in Libya. We see it in Syria. We see it in Iraq. We see it in Jordan. We see it in Egypt. You know, Egypt, this is the heart of the Arab world. 70, 80 million people, maybe more. I don't know what the recent count in Egypt. And they have unbelievable number of unemployment. Youth really don't have any prospect. Youth can't even find a job. Jobs. They can't start life. They can't get married. They can't get an apartment. And what are we doing for all of that? You know, we are setting them up to fail. We are setting them up, you know, for other organizations to prey on them, take advantage of them, you know, put weapons in their hands and do harm to their countries and to their communities. You know, people try to analyze and look, why, and don't they know any better? You know, when people are desperate, when people have no prospect, when people have no hope, they don't have the luxury to analyze. They really don't. So, I lived under occupation. I lived in really terrible situations. You don't have the luxury to sit down and analyze and think about things clearly. This requires efforts, it requires resources, it requires leadership, it requires a totally different educational level, higher educational level. And education, I'm not talking about going to school and going to college and getting a degree. Education is something totally different. Education is life. Education is knowledge, general knowledge, is awareness. That's what education is. And we don't have that. We don't have that collectively. We have a lot of individual successes, but we don't have collective successes. We don't work together well. And these are the problems, whether it is Tunisia, whether it is, Maghreb, whether it is Morocco, whether it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, we have the population, we have the brains, we have the natural resources. What else we need? Work together. Look how much money is being now spent by, let's take an Arab country such as Saudi Arabia. How much money is Saudi Arabia spending on the war in Yemen, the war in Syria, the war in here, the war in there? let's say we spend that money to create opportunities for the Yemenis. Do you think they would follow, the Houthis and they follow this and that? They would not. People who have something to protect, they will protect it. People who don't have anything to lose, they don't care. Let's give them something to protect. Let's say all the wealth that we have in the Gulf states that now is going to nothing but weapons. Let's buy weapons, and use them and kill each other. Where are we going? Where are we going with that? Nowhere. What have we created? Nowhere. I read this a long time ago. It makes a lot of sense, in which is you have to create systems. You have to create a system in which you set up a government, you protect people, and then that system you create it in a way with a mechanism to correct itself. And then you do corrections. This is how we got where we are in the United States. All the corrections that we do day in and day out. And we go to the Supreme Court, and we go to here, we go to courts, and we analyze and we revise, because we want that system to work better. And I'm not saying we're always successful, but this is the way to do it. This is how we can get to where we need to get. We have a couple minutes left, and very quickly, the Supreme Court ruled on the citizenship question, and I'm glad they ruled that way because that was been tossed out. We need to know how many people live in this area, not how many citizens. This is very important. The other thing is that I'm disappointed with the Supreme Court ruling on gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is how the politicians draw districts in a way to favor them, and they did that in the Carolinas, and I'm sorry that they ruled that way. The Democratic debate in Miami that's taken place a couple days in a row, and I really don't see a front runner is going to take on Donald Trump. Economy, healthcare is the issue. Economy, and this is where we need to be, not all the other small issues that they're focusing on. And lastly, I want to let you know that this is July. The housing market is heating up. It's tremendously busy. If you have a place to sell, if you have a property to sell, this is the time to do it. If you're looking to buy, this is the time to do it. Give me a call, 313-819-0101. 313-819-0101. If you're selling, this is the time to do it. The market is so hot. I also have a hardware store and a glass repair store and business and real estate, all of them for sale at a very good price. 313-819-0101. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for Mohamed Khalifi. Thank you for Layla for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Mike, for producing the show. Have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend. Thank you. Again, the number is 313-819-0101. Have a good weekend. Bye now.